What's up guys, Metalshop TV here. We are at Rock Cafe in Prague and we are here with Lacuna Coil. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
We're doing great, ready for the show tonight.
So you are currently in an early phase of your European tour. So how is it going so far?
So far so good. Actually, it's halfway through the tour because we started from Australia. Then what we did, we did Japan, Australia, and then we immediately jumped on the Euro tour. And now it's halfway because we're going to finish it end of the month. And so far so good. Great shows, great crowd. The album is doing really good, so we're happy.
Are you playing like a show after show, or do you have time to check out the atmosphere of the cities you are playing in?
It's usually 4 shows and a day off, so sometimes we have time to visit, sometimes not. But that's always like that on tour. You know, usually we do 4 shows, day off, 3 shows, day off, something like that.
Well, we are in Prague. I know that you've played here already. Do you have some special memories about this place, or how do you like this city in general?
Well, unfortunately, when we're on tour, it's not that we have a lot of chances to be tourists and to check everything we would like. But we definitely love the city. It's so beautiful. The art is beautiful. And usually the crowd in Prague is really good for us. I mean, they really love to interact with us at the shows. So we're definitely looking forward to the show tonight.
Right now in your stage of your career, you have many albums and you have even more songs, so I guess it must be difficult to put together the right set list. But what song do you feel resonates the most with the crowd on this specific tour, and what song do you like to play the most?
I think the new songs are the ones that are getting more reactions because obviously it's a new album, so a lot of people want to listen to the new songs. And also there are the classic songs that we always have in the setlist, like Heaven's a Lie or Our Truth, Enjoy the Silence. So it's a good mix, and I don't notice a huge difference, you know, between the reaction of the song favorites and the new ones. So I think the people has been receiving the album pretty well, and they sing a lot of alongside to the lyrics. So I think there's not a huge difference right now, but obviously for us it's more interesting to play the new songs because the other ones we've been playing them for many years, so there's nothing new.
How do you feel right now about life on tour? Because you are playing for many years. It is right now for you easier because of all the experience you have with this kind of lifestyle, or is it more difficult because you have right now your family lives and stuff like that?
Well, I have to say that, I mean, it's easier for us because we have the opportunity to travel on a tour bus or like flying from place to place. So it's definitely easier for a band like ours compared to other smaller bands that are maybe forced to travel on a van or driving themselves place to place. So I have to say that it's easy for us to be on tour. The only hard part is to leave the loved ones back home, but that was happening years ago as well. It's the path that we've chosen. We love what we do. I don't think that any of us would change our job because it is a job with any other job in the world. And I think it's pretty much, I mean, it didn't get more difficult or easier. We just got into it, and it's our life. That's what we've been doing for 20 years, so we kind of got used to it.
Can you imagine that you'll be doing this in like 20 years?
Who knows?
Let's start with the next 10 and then we'll think about it, you know. I think it's not a problem of the life, it's just that you get older, obviously, so you also have to face more difficult times, you know. So hopefully we will be able to keep the band going for a long time, even if maybe they will change the way we tour or they will do more special shows or something different. We don't know, and it's impossible to say right now. But I think music will always be and Lacuna Coil especially, will always be part of our life in a way or another, you know.
Yeah. Well, your band has went through some big lineup changes in the last couple of years. Looking back right now, do you feel like it has re-energized the band or restarted the band?
Well, it is definitely not even a new chapter, but a completely new book for Lacuna Coil, even though I have to say that the songwriters are still in the band. So nothing really changed in the songwriting, because Marco, the bass player, was always the responsible for the music, and Andrea and I were always the responsible for the vocal melodies and the lyrics. So nothing really changed there. Obviously, the lineup, it's different. New people came in. Other people decided to do something different and retire. And the new people who came in brought a new lymph to the band, because of course everyone is even more motivated. Everything is new and fresh. There is a new energy to the band, and I believe that all our fans noticed this. We were a little bit afraid, because sometimes when you change the lineup, some fans are like skeptical, or they're afraid that you're going to change. But everyone is loving the new lineup and the new atmosphere that we're bringing at every show. So it's cool and refreshing for all of us.
I also know that you worked in the past with some famous rock producers, but this time around it was a bit different. So why have you decided to go a bit different direction this time?
I mean, we decided to have Mark, our bass player, producing the record, because not only he's been always the main songwriter for the band, but also he's always been the internal producer of the band. Like when we were doing the demos for the song, he was the guy who could come up with all the arrangement and all the ideas for the sound. So it was quite a natural progression for him to try and produce some bands. He started with some local bands in Italy, in Milan, in some friends and some other rock and metal bands. And then when it was time to produce this record, we decided to trust him and to just go with the flow of him producing the record and give him the chance to really do the record he wanted to do for the band, you know. So it's been important, and he's been really good in separating the role of the producer with the role of the friend / bass player of the band, which is the most difficult part probably, because you write the music, so it's hard for you to judge and to cut your own stuff, you know, to modify what you've been working on. So it's doing really well, and I think you can really tell that the sound is the perfect sound for this record. And I think we would just feel ready to try to do that instead of, you know, working with somebody coming from the outside. Also because we've been working, as you say, with a lot of very big producers, so we learned a lot from them. And we wanted to see how much we ourselves, Marco as a producer, us as songwriters and lyrics writers, how much we could do it on our own, you know, how much we could stand on our own and make a record. And actually the record is very successful, and it already outsold the previous record in 6 months. So it's pretty good results, so I think it was the right choice.
So do you feel like the reason this record is much heavier than the previous ones may be the fact that you've done everything by yourself? And there wasn't anyone...
I wouldn't even compare the records, because I mean every records belong to a specific period of taste, of like working with the producer. So we're not saying anything about the previous records, if that they're lacking or something, because they were perfect for the time they've been done. But this record came out exactly the way we wanted it to be, you know, as loud as we wanted it to be, with no barriers. We didn't want to... we wanted to be free to do whatever we wanted to do, with no limitations, even knowing that we could surprise some of the fans, because some of the songs are not expected from a typical Lacuna Coil fan. We actually brought back a lot of the old school sound that we had like when we started the demo tapes and the first EP. And it was fun for us. It was like very, very challenging, because we didn't know what was going to happen, what could happen with a record that was a little bit different. And it was good. It went well.
Okay, it's cool. When I look at some of the song titles on your new record, like Claustrophobia, Delirium, My Demons, or Bleed the Pain, it feels like this record has come from a very dark place, like lyrically. Is it your personal statement, like from your lives, or is it more you reflecting on what you see around you or the situation in the world?
It's both. Actually, this record is not a concept album, but there was a story behind. We basically created our own sanatorium. We even created, you know, the name, the logo for it, because we wanted this record to be more than a record, a place for everyone to feel good in it, for everyone who felt damaged or weak or alone. We get every day we get mails from fans that are feeling that are not feeling well with themselves or with their families, with the people that they have around you. So we wanted a record that could collect everyone who is not feeling all right and bring it to our side. And all the lyrics are basically reacting the feelings that a lot of people is feeling right now. It's reflecting our feelings when we wrote the lyrics, because we went through some dark times as well. It's a combination of things.
Yeah, usually when we write the lyrics for a record and also the music, we kind of try to put everything we have experienced in the previous 2-3 years of our lives into the music, into the lyrics, into the topics we're gonna touch. Obviously, we don't specifically dedicate one song to that specific topic. We try to write it in a way that everybody can relate and can find his own interpretation. But certainly there is some truth behind every song in the record, you know, some of personal experiences.
Well, that was my next question, because I was wondering, I don't remember your record where you would be so like a visual, like you have right now you have your costumes and everything. So was that the idea from the start, or was it something that developed through the time?
It all started from the song Delirium. When we came up with the chorus and all the lyrics for Delirium, we immediately imagined how the old artwork for the album was going to be. So we immediately thought about the straitjacket and the blood and the fact that we wanted to put ourselves at the service of our music and our vision instead of working the other way around. So it all came automatically, because we think that the visual, it's also very important. The music, it's important, of course, but if you deliver the music together with a vision and with a visual, it's easier for whoever is out there to kind of understand what you mean and enter in the message that you're trying to deliver.
Okay. I know that you are very active on social media, and I know it's a huge part of how the music works today. So, do you think that the social media and the way you handle it helped your band to expand even more and to gain maybe even more people that are interested in you?
Well, probably did, just because it's easier to connect to the world, but we have been so lucky because of the period when we started to have a career. So we're not like a sensation band that came out last week with a single that everyone loves and wants, and maybe next year will disappear. So we were lucky enough to have a strong basis of fans that always supported us from day one. And the social medias helped us out, of course, to spread the messages and maybe saying that there was a new record or a new video, or just to let regular people know what we do when we're in the backstage, or what's happening in our lives, or what's happening on the tour bus. So it definitely helps. It's not the secret of a success of a band, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, especially nowadays, you don't really know. Everything has changed in the music business, so you don't know where people actually, how much the YouTube can work, how much the Facebook, the Instagram. So it's so many ways to get popular, but also so many ways to get lost, you know. So the fact that there is all this attention from the social media, it's not necessarily always positive. Sometimes it just puts you in the middle of 1,000 other things that every day change, and every day there's a new sensation about it, you know. So it's very hard to use it if you don't have a strong starting place.
So you are in charge of all your social media accounts?
Yeah, I mean, we have some other people like helping us out maybe on our band page, because sometimes you have, you know, a person from the label who get the news of an event before you do, and they put it, they can publish it as well. But we're responsible for our personal pages, for example. We post on the Lacuna Coil one, on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook, because of course we are in the band, so we can take pictures of what's going on and share them with the world. It definitely helped to connect more, because it kind of creates a bond in between you and the fans, that it's more private, more intense.
Mm-hmm. Well, your band is successful all over the world, and you have many fans. But I was wondering, what do you consider is the biggest success of your career? Was there ever a moment when you were like, we made it, this is it?
I think there was a moment where that we can more or less see when we did the first Odds Fest in 2004. That brought the name of our band into a different level. You know, then we were just this new band from Italy in the beginning. Now a bit naive, a bit different. But then we became in the same lineup of bands like Slipknot and Judas Priest and Slayer and Dimmu Borgir and a lot of. And so in that moment we really saw our popularity, beside the record sales obviously improve a lot, and the radio picked up the Heaven's Alive single all over America, and that reflects also in Europe in the success of the song. So that moment really brought us into a different level as a band. You know, then there has been other moments in our career that has been very important, very more mainstream, more underground sometimes, but always important. But that moment, I think, is the step that we took that really pushed us in a professional level all around.
But beside that, I mean, thinking that we've been around for almost 20 years and everything is getting better and better. I mean, there are not so many bands that can be consistent for such a long time and actually gets more successful in time. So that's probably the biggest accomplishment, you know, to live with our music. It's something that a lot of people can still dream of, and we have it, so that's great.
Okay, so the last question. What's next for Lacuna Coil? Is it just touring, or do you have some special plans for maybe some singles or DVDs or anything?
Oh, we just shot 2 videos that are going to be out pretty soon, and I believe a lot of people will be surprised about that because they're definitely different videos compared to others. We have another special surprise for Christmas, but there is time, we'll announce it. Then we're going to be performing in New York at the Revolver Awards, which is fantastic because, I mean, for a band, for an Italian band, even if we've been around for quite a while, it's such an honor because it's a super cool ceremony. And then touring. I believe that we're going to keep on touring for at least another year. And in the meantime, we're going to write something here and there for the next record, but it's not in the plans yet. So a lot of touring.
Okay, so we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Metalshop TV, Lacuna Coil.